One Piece. This is
We
One Piece.
missed you.
Ooh, yeah, we did. This is One Piece chapter 1074. MK3, or I think is it Mark 5, Mark 3? MK3 is what the title is literally. We get a cover page update. It is still like a flashback to the young days of the Mads experiment group, and I'm only really keeping tabs of this particular title page because I feel like it's really going to tie into what's happening currently. I feel like we've never had a title page that ran so concurrently with what's going on right now, or was so relevant to what's happening right now. So I feel like something's gonna spring from this because we've already learned a couple things from this going forward. I'd like to note here that it's basically like a young queen, Caesar Clown, and Vince Smoke Judge all fighting in a perpetual war to be number 2 because they know they can't even remotely compete with Vegapunk. That's a lost cause. He's number 1, undisputed. So it's very. I'd like to note how much. I don't know why, but I really feel like this is the most like Sanji Judge has ever looked in this little panel here, but maybe that's just me. I just see Sanji in that moment, but that's all I gotta say about that. It's interesting. A little bit. I just saw like a vision of Sanji. We start the chapter in the Fabrio phase of the the island of Egghead, which is kind of the lower level of the island. There's the Fabrio phase and the Labo phase where all of the Straw Hats are currently hiding at. The government agents that have invaded Egghead are now contending with a new form of the PX1s known as the PX3s. And these seem to be super duper advanced versions of the PX1s that basically decimated pre-time skip Straw Hat pirates. So
super duper.
Okay. Someone tries to shoot them with a cannon, but they're blocked with these strange bubble powers. And I saw that, and you know, they mentioned there were like powers. They say it's a bubble shield. Oh, it's Vegapunk's invention. So that puts a dash on like my little mini theory that I was thinking of, but I knew it wasn't possible. I was like, do they have like the soap fruit powers? Because like, it was like bubbles.
Wow, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, but no, it's apparently at some point Vegapunk invented a bubble shield, which is I guess the strongest shield in the verse currently, outside of Bartholomew's barrier fruit. But in any case, these regular ass government agents are having safe to say a struggle with the PX3s. They're not doing great, and they're like, who's even fucking Pacifistas can't act on their own? Who's giving it orders? And we discover that Sentomaru survived his attack, saying making the rule known that if you don't see a One Piece character confirmed dead, he's alive. They're alive, you know. Sentomaru made it just barely, and he's basically commanding the PX3s. And he, in this moment, he's just like putting it all together. He can't get in touch with Vegapunk because it seems like the government is now looping the transmissions that are not allowing them to communicate with each other and getting updates from Vegapunk and so on and so forth. So Sentomaru takes it upon himself to activate all 50 of the remaining Pacifista MK3s and just deploying them to help out the Straw Hats. I do want to take a moment to comment that Sentomaru, I never thought I'd like him because I thought he was like a huge stickler for the government, but he's really coming through for Vegapunk right now. I really respect that in a way. I was like, oh, all right, I see it.
There's not too much hesitation either.
No,
you know,
very little. He's just like, well, I guess that's what it is. Fuck the government. And I'm like, good for you, man.
I'm gonna ride with my friend that actually saved my life.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. So he commands the PX3s to make sure that the Straw Hats and Vegapunk get off the island successfully. Speaking of which, we cut back to the Labo phase where Luffy has realize that Bonnie and Vegapunk are missing. The the hover boots that Luffy is currently wearing have run out of gas, or they broke. So Luffy's just been running around all over the Labo face and has worn himself out, basically. So they're like, "Oh my god, what happened to her? Where'd they go? Are they missing?" And Shaka's just like, "Bonnie? Oh, Bonnie's here." It was like, "Wait, what?" You can see her. She's right there on the monitor. He's like, "Mention that." He's like, "She's been here the whole time." He's like, "I've been looking for them." At that point, that's when Stussy, Zoro, and Brook make it to the Labo phase in their decked out egghead character designs. And basically, Shaka lays out the situation for them right now. Although they know where Bonnie is, the main body of the Vegapunks is missing currently. And the other new piece of news since the last chapter is that they've lost control over the Frontier Dome. So that big laser shield that they had that kept Kaku out is now applied to them as well, and they can't get out because of that shield. So they have to figure out what's going on right now. The first things first, they have to find the Stella, and Shaka's going to find a way to repair the dome and regain control. Frankie is just like, well, what's the point of looking for Vegapunk if your all-seeing monitors don't see them? And Shaka points out is like, normally I would have a full view of everything in the lab, but some of the cam snails that are around have either lost conscious or have left their station as a result of the Seraphim causing damage to them earlier. So, you know, he has the other satellites running around the lab looking for him. And, you know, that's that. Pythagoras, for example, is currently looking on the third floor as he reports in that there's no sign of Vegapunk on the third floor. And at that point, that's when Nami breaks off and is like, all right, let's go find him, I guess. I mean, we can't leave without him. I think it's implied that she takes Brook and Jinbei. Stussy also decides to break off and look for Vegapunk, to which Sanji immediately follows her, of course. Zoro is just like, I guess I'll look for her too. To which the Straw Hats immediately stop him and is like, no, you're going to get lost. If you go looking for Vegapunk, who's going to go looking for you? So they convince Zoro to stay behind with Luffy. And apparently Kaku and Lucci are also there, knocked out in the Labo phase. So
I mean, good thing they stay behind, right?
Yeah, so they're basically sitting there and they're like, I don't even know what they're talking about, but geez, how long were you running around at max effort? And Luffy's like, I'm always at max effort. And they're kind of reminiscent. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe we ran into these guys again. I haven't even thought about Water 7 in ages. I hope Ice Guy is doing well. And that was a nice little thought.
Ice Guy?
Iceberg.
Who?
Iceberg, the mayor from Water 7. The guy that was like had an assassination attempt on him. Frankie's like surrogate brother, kind of, sorta. Iceberg, you know Iceberg. You know, the one who's like the head of the shipwrights people, and also the mayor of the town.
Long time.
Damn, it has been a long time though. Well, it was a nice little mention, I guess. Meanwhile, back at the PAW room, the paw room, we get a little like reminder that Bonnie has decided to touch the giant pawpaw fruit paw to look into the memories of Kuma and find out what the hell is his deal and why he decided to become a lifeless android. So he does that, and we see that Bonnie has like basically kicked Vegapunk out of the room. And the very next thing we see is Bonnie apparently in this weird grassy field, and we see her with encounter this crying giant child. Well, not giant, but I guess like relative to, you know, regular people, regular children. He's a giant. So He's just sitting there in this open grassy field, just crying his eyes out.
That's a big boy.
Oh yeah, that's a big boy. And Bonnie recognizes him as her father, obviously. And at that point, that's when we see these shadowy figures surround Kuma and basically say that if you get back here right now, if you escape, they'll kill every last one of us. And Kuma's like, I don't want to go back. And they basically drag him all the way back to what looks like Marie Joie. And that's no good when you have to be dragged back to Marie Joie. We see
He's probably a slave.
Oh yeah, and we see the silhouettes of what look to be celestial dragons, and they're doing bad things to the child, and it's very sad. Bonnie is just reeling in watching her dad in his youth just be abused and beaten, and the pain seems to be so intense that it actually like pushes her out of the paw thing, and
But she can't handle it.
No, yeah, because she's from what I understand, she's probably also experiencing the pain to a degree, at least the emotional pain. But we also get, as Bonnie is looking at the paw, we also see like interspliced the Kuma, the PX, the original Kuma body climbing up the red wall towards Marie Joie, as people below are trying to prevent him from climbing all the way back up. Bonnie just is like, this isn't something I can bear unless I'm ready, but I can't move on unless I learn the truth. And, we see her hand being stretched out, assuming that she's going to try to see more into the shockwave paw of Kuma's memories. At that point, we cut back to Pythagoras, the fourth Vegapunk satellite, who's just walking around looking for Vegapunk, and I don't know what floor he's on specifically, but he seems to be on the floor where the Seraphim were originally created. And he's like, Stella, where are you? The Stella is what they call the original body of Vegapunk. And behind him, there's this little noise that goes katuk. And Pythagoras looks back, and all of a sudden, huge explosion where he's standing. And
he just says,
You
noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
And then exclamation points.
Maybe it was like a very short, like,
maybe. I was calm.
And so he gets blown up, and then we cut to something completely unexpected. We cut back to the World Economic Journal headquarters that's floating in the air, as Big News Morgans has seemed to have somehow gotten the word that the world government is now trying to assassinate Dr. Vegapunk. And he's basically like, oh my God, this is the Ohara incident all over again. But the government's picked the wrong fight this time. Everyone loves Vegapunk. This guy developed energy that brought light to every town in the fucking world. And he just happens to be with this guy. And we reveal that he knows that Vegapunk's with Luffy. And he pitches a headline framing Luffy for basically saying that he's waging all-out war with the world government and holding Vegapunk hostage. So that I guess he's trying to win the favor of the government back and gain some moolah while he's at it. And I guess off screen we hear a noise, someone yelling in protest, saying, "What a preposterous excuse!" And we see that Nefeltari Vivi has been with them the whole time. It's a big deal. And she's there just being like, that's fucking ridiculous. Luffy would never do something like that. This is why I hate the World Economic Journal. And we also see that King Wapol is there.
Nice.
So he's
big
freaking
deal alert. EDA. EDA. Big deal alert.
Big deal alert. Foreshadowing alert. So Wapol's just like, stop fucking rocking the boat here. They're hiding us from the government. Who knows what they'll do next? He's just pleading for her to chill so that they won't be thrown out of the fucking hot air balloon they're riding in. And Morgans is like, bah, don't fucking come strong to me now. You were crying your eyes out yesterday. This is the news world. This is the newsroom of the world, and I'm the mover and the shaker. It's not about fact or fiction. It's about what sells. News is the biggest entertainment of all, baby. So that's interesting.
Wow. That sounds very familiar and realistic.
Yeah, isn't that fucking the truth in a way? But anyway, Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1074?
When I'm trying to decide if this was my favorite chapter, but I feel like because I had to think so hard about it, wasn't.
It's okay if it wasn't.
This was an informative chapter. I let's talk about it. So, first of all, when I opened the chapter, it started on the last page, but it was kind of cool because I didn't know it was the last page. All I seen was that Morgan was there, and there was some girl up top. Now, thank goodness Oda still draws all his females the same, because that honestly could have been anybody.
It truly could.
So I didn't know that was Vivi. I didn't read that it said Nefeltari, Vivi, or nothing like that. I knew that guy was somebody, but I had to scroll back, from the pages to get back to page 1. So I wasn't even spoiled. That's so funny. I'm going back from the beginning. I'm trying to regain my thoughts, because this is a pretty thick chapter. So these PX3s, I mean, they named the chapter PX3. So these niggas is gonna be problematic at some point, but the Seraphims are already a big deal. Is this is what's gonna be the war, right? This is gonna be a bunch of pirates fighting against these things, isn't it?
It's these things,
and Seraphims,
the admirals, the vice admirals,
yeah, and the rest of the government fodder.
Yeah, the rest of the government fodder.
Yeah,
that's what's on the government side, I guess, is the power of science and advanced weapons of mass destruction.
Oh shit! Yeah, they do have Pluton. Right?
No,
yeah,
they don't have Pluton. Do they have Pluton? They don't have Pluton. They have Uranus.
That's what okay, yeah, that's what they have. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, they don't have my anus.
No, they don't, Chris. Well, they don't have mine either. So
yeah, I'll try to find the
I don't know what we're supposed to do there. Well, look,
it's a little late, but I did it.
I have no fucking clue what attacked the robot kid, but I think the government's already there. I think their island's already been infiltrated.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see. Situation with. So that's definitely Kuma as a kid, and yeah, he is large, but he's not giant large.
Yeah, he's like a bigger boy.
Right.
He's not a giant. He's not from Elbaf.
But Big Mom's a giant.
No, she's not.
Oh, she's just large.
Yeah, she's just
I don't know why I keep saying that. So cool. So they're both just big.
Yeah, they're both just big people. Like giants are like markedly bigger than Big Mom.
True. Big Mom can't walk on the ocean floor.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, San Juan Wolf can, because he's the biggest giant. So normal giants couldn't do that.
Oh, okay. But he's that tall.
San Juan Wolf is that big.
Can't wait till they have to fight him.
Oh,
I hope they give him devil fruit powers.
Oh my god, I don't even know how they would beat him now without it. He's just so fucking big.
Talk about menacing when he was introduced.
Yeah.
He was just looming.
Dude, when he was like, I think you found me, he was hiding behind the whole building.
He was like, wait, you see him? You know, like the random soldiers.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what's that over there? What's that
What
thing?
the fuck is
He's like,
that?
oh, you
Whoa.
got me. You found me.
Goddamn, the Blackbeard pirates are crazy. They go
It's
so
fucking
hard,
crazy.
man.
The ex-admiral with the cigar and the crazy
Ex-warden.
jawline.
But yeah, Shiryu.
You know he's a real hard ass back in his day.
Yeah, he was
He definitely cut some corners.
Yeah, no, he was such a
played
hard
by
ass.
his own rules.
He was such a hard ass. They put him in level 6 of Impel Down. So you stay down here. This is crazy. Anyway, do you have any more?
Imagine he ever.
Oh, sorry.
No, wait. Remember that conversation we had a couple weeks ago about My Hero Academia and responsibility when we were talking about things. This isn't one of those situations, but it definitely made me think about it. So Big Morgan says it's not about fact or fiction, it's about what sells. News is the biggest entertainment of all, baby. So I'm not gonna say that he's lying, that's the I mean, news it can be entertaining. You know? I mean, factual information can be entertaining as well. I just want to be clear when I see Morgan as a villain now.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. He is a bad guy. And also one of the worst kinds of bad guys.
Yeah, Morgan's...
There's a certain amount of integrity that comes with being a reporter, that it's not about being inherent to be a reporter. I just respect the ones that are solid, you know, and put in the work to let people know what's going on and deliver us facts. You know, whenever we talk about anything in the news, you're not always going to be able to talk about everything that's happening in the world. You know what I'm saying? In like a half an hour segment or something like that. So you're always going to choose to leave out some information, just by nature of the fact that you're limited on time. So, you know, this guy is saying he omits information for the sake of entertainment. You know, that's bad. That's not okay in any way, shape, or form. That's irredeemable. He needs to go down.
Oh yeah,
that better be Vivi's arc that she takes over the news industry.
Yeah, I think she would have a country to run and probably not be able to do that. But
that's not as important.
Okay. You're right then. It's interesting. I feel like Morgan's, when he was like first really like when we got a first glimpse into his character, when he actually like activated the balloon and started flying away and he knocked out the CP0 member for trying to get him to like to tell a fake story on behalf of the government, and he was like, no, I wouldn't do that. But I feel like now we're seeing him be more from a chaotic kind of good as what we initially thought to a chaotic neutral. I feel like
not cute.
Yeah, he's not on anybody's side but his own. And I feel like we knew that, but now it's for real. Now it's a negative.
I hate the whole chaotic You know what? The whole premise of it is fucking retarded.
Is it?
Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't say that.
It's pretty chaotic neutral of you.
Okay, look. It's what's neutral about it? There's nothing neutral about what he's doing. He's serving himself, which is evil. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? That is bad. I don't understand how we can paint it as it being good.
I didn't make the system, so I don't know.
Not you. It's saying to you. I'm just thinking about it. Like,
I'm not painting it as good. I don't think it's necessarily good. I guess I feel like it makes
the story.
Yeah.
As far as who we know as the villains, to be framed as far as looking at it like on an ethical level.
Yeah, I guess the way it is that you don't have any particular allegiances to what are the absolute temples of lawful good and lawful evil, or and what's the worst one? Bad evil? I don't know what it's called. But I guess like chaotic neutral would be like you serve yourself regardless of whether your intentions are good, because Morgan's technically did one good thing by not allowing the government to bribe him into telling a story that would outright benefit them only. But he's also doing something bad by lying about the Straw Hats to benefit himself. But he's also not doing it for the government's sake, so they can thrive and continue doing what they're doing. He's doing it probably to get them off his back a little, and also to get some money for his own publication, so he can continue to be profitable on his own. And that's evil, sure. That's like not a good thing to do. But
seems like he's base evil, and sometimes his actions just so happen to help out the quote unquote good guys.
Yeah, that's chaotic neutral.
Sure. I guess
that's chaotic neutral, I guess.
It's just weird.
When there's no weird. Also, it also implies
either good or bad.
Because there's also an implicit like, I'm doing this kind of like on a whim, and it's not like necessarily pretty pre-planned. That's why I put him in the chaotic section, where he's usually like reacting based on the information he receives, and his actions after receiving that information could help the evil side or the good side. So at any given time,
context of the story, right? As far as looking at it as this group of people is evil and this group of people is good. In a simplistic sense, it makes total sense.
Because in theory, by publishing Luffy's Gear 5 form and revealing that he has the Nika fruit, he's given hope to a lot of people who believe in Nika and is like, oh shit, the freedom guy is here. And that
he is ethically flawed.
Yes.
He is morally compromised.
Absolutely.
Therefore, listen, I'm not saying people are perfect, but he does this with the intent. So I don't...
the intent is to...
We could call it neutral, or we could say he's a fucking bad guy that sometimes can benefit the people, but he's...
That's what neutral is.
Ultimately, like...
It's based in self-interest is basically what it is. And, you could say that...
Self-interest is evil!
I guess it's more on the effect that it has on the world, where, like, the neutral side of it is that he's either... He can just like be good or bad for the world at any given point in time, depending on his self-interest, and that's what makes him neutral. Because if it was in his self-interest to fuck over the government at this very moment, he would do that. But it's not. So he's doing it to preserve himself.
Yeah, and that's what I disagree with.
Which,
the
sure,
framing of that.
Maybe
I don't
evil.
think that's neutral.
It's neutral. I
don't think neutral exists in a. Because all right, good and bad, good and evil aren't like, forever truths. There's something with shit we make up. So it is black and white. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to deem what is morally okay and morally not. Now, there's people who we try to be the best we can, and we make mistakes along the way. You know what I'm saying? But you're still a decent person if you try your best. You know what I'm saying? Even if you slip sometimes, you're a decent person. You're not neutral because you're good and then make mistakes. Would you agree with that? Like, you're a good person. Hey, you're not a neutral person.
Sure. No, you're
right.
No, that's a good person, but your neutrality comes from like Morgan's neutrality comes from. He's not trying to be a good or a bad person. He's just, like, in this instance, he's trying to benefit himself.
Is this literary? Is this not to be applied to real people?
It's kind of a D&D.
Am I thinking too hard on this?
Yeah, it's a D&D. It's D&D terminology. The characters you create.
Oh my god! You should have started with that, bro. I'm sorry, because I was trying to say that from the beginning. Like
yes,
in the
nobody.
Story, if you're looking at it like, all right, there's the objective good people and bad people. Because obviously,
let me look up the
government is.
Let me look up the alignments.
The government's the bad guys in the
Yes.
show, right? I mean, in the series.
Yes.
Right,
I believe the world government.
I feel bad.
I feel like the world government lies. If you're looking at the D&D like that chart, I believe that the government lies in lawful evil. And the Straw Hats. Let me see. I don't actually remember the entire D&D.
Lawful. Yeah, I'd love to have this breakdown. I guess we don't have to do it right now, but that's interesting to me.
Okay, the alignments. Okay.
What's lawful evil? Like you?
Okay,
evil with rules. I'm gonna be an asshole, but I'm gonna be predictable about it.
Okay, so here's the alignment. Here's the alignment grid. It starts with lawful good, a lawful good character, and this is the D&D example stuff.
Sure.
A lawful good character is the iconic example of lawful good, which is a paladin, which ironically I play when I play D&D.
On purpose, or that's what happens?
What do you mean?
Do you get selected?
No, you don't.
Do you select that class,
or does it? You don't really select. It's just a thing that people add, I guess. I don't really know how it plays. Neutral good. A neutral character believes in altruism over all else. I don't know what that means necessarily, but there are examples.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that means necessarily either.
So lawful good is Superman. Think Superman. And these are just like examples of people who kind of fall into this. Neutral good, when they're showing the guy from Firefly. I don't know him. I never really watched Firefly. Neutral good is, this is if I ever kill you, you'll be awake, you'll be facing me, and you'll be armed. So I don't know. It's hard to explain neutral good.
Yeah, it sounds so fucking romantic.
Chaotic good is
in the nerdiest way.
Chaotic good sounds like the Straw Hats. Chaotic good is a chaotic good character believes in freedom as the highest virtue. The iconic example of chaotic good is Robin Hood, who rebels against authority as a way to protect the poor from poverty and suffering. So that's the Straw Hats, I think. We have then chaotic neutral. Oh, wait, we have lawful neutral. Let's see. What's lawful neutral? Lawful neutral character obeys the principle of the highest virtue. For example, a judge who treats all fairly and equally would be considered a lawful neutral. A true neutral character is neutral on both axes and cares not for any stance of alignment. This often describes someone who cares only for their own personal needs, neither inclined to hurt or harm others, nor to obey or rebel. A few neutral characters rather follow an intentional philosophy of balance. And they give a bunch of D&D specific examples. But in this thing, true neutral is some kind of tree creature. I have no idea what this is. But a chaotic neutral is chaotic neutral character follows their heart, but without the willingness to self-sacrifice as a chaotic good character might. A great many adventures are chaotic neutral, doing what they wish and rejecting all forms of authority. Some chaotic neutral characters follow a deliberate philosophy of destroying the old to make way for the new, a free spirit. So Jack Sparrow is kind of an example of a chaotic neutral. Then we get into the evils, which is a lawful evil. The lawful evil is a tyrant, basically. They have no moral qualms about punishing individuals for the greater goal of furthering society. So, the world government, I guess, if you were to think of them that way. The neutral evil character is selfish and has no problem harming others to get what they want, which maybe is what Morgan's falls into more than anything, is a neutral evil. Chaotic evil is a malevolent character. The Joker is a chaotic evil. And that's all the alignments as we know them. That was a lot. That was a lot to get into.
Yeah, it's I wonder what people in the comments would have to say about that, about applying that to real life. I think that's a little.
No, I mean, I wouldn't apply it to.
Not all of it's applicable.
No, I wouldn't apply it to. I'm applying it because it's it's interesting to always apply it to like narrative characters, I guess. It's like an interesting way. It's a fun game to play in a way sometimes. It's like
Yeah,
who lies
no,
where.
for sure. Because characters play a role in stories and
Sure.
their devices themselves.
Yeah, you
So
look
it's
for
a good way
tropes
to
within characters.
categorize them.
Yeah, you look at tropes within characters and put them in this bin if you wanted to do that. That's what I was trying to do with Morgan's. I wouldn't apply the D&D alignments to like real things or people. But yep, I guess that's all I got to say about Morgan's D&D alignment. I feel like we went off on a tangent, but hey, it was educational. We have some time.
It was educational. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I would suggest looking it up. It is interesting to read about and trying to figure out. Sometimes I think I play that game with myself where I try to figure out where on the alignment certain characters fall. I think all the Straw Hats are for sure chaotic goods.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is
that's
good.
fair.
Honestly,
Only
my favorite kind of goods.
Chaotic means bucking tradition.
Yes.
You know, kind of breaking free of conventions.
Yeah.
Almost in a way.
Yep.
So whether they're doing something good, whether they're being neutral, or whether they're being evil, they're doing it in a way that's completely obtuse to, you know, the rules of
the world,
or whatever, for the most part.
Right.
In a literary sense.
Yeah. Because a lawful good would be the Navy for the most part. Like Smoker, Kobe, those guys are lawful goods, technically.
Can I be honest with you? I immediately started thinking about like activism.
Yeah.
When I looked at like the scope on like, you know, lawful, neutral, and chaotic, right? And I'm like, you know, a part of me thought, do people look at these charts and then apply this to people and say like, oh, like that's a good person, but he's that type of good, so he's less good. You know, I don't know. I wonder if people kind of fall into those habits, and I guess I wouldn't be that shocked. Nor it would be understandable. It's similar to like horoscopes or something in a way, but there's at least there's a little bit more solid reasoning to it, other than just saying that this sign says that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think most people know about the D&D alignments because I don't know how many people play D&D like that.
I see a lot of it online though.
Probably.
I see a lot of like the charts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I see people kind of talk about it a little bit in a way. But like I was saying, like, you know, when I look at activists, you know, especially like in America, the ones that actually got anything done, any type of real activist and I got something done in America would probably be considered as like definitely on the chaotic side of however you want to look at it. Like, you know, people could look at it as chaotic good. I guess business people would look at it as chaotic bad because, you know, they was able to set a lot of regulations after, you know, people fought for them. So, you know, and I guess it's just kind of weird because it's just like, no, that's just good. If people, you know, if people have had a conversation about it and try to categorize that in a certain way, I would like go out my way to tell them like, nah, man, it's just all the way good. That's called necessary good. That's called when good ain't good enough, you gotta good in another way. you gotta good to the extreme.
Good to the extreme.
Until you force them to to be good.
What's the other word for
that one's getting written down.
What's the other word for the extreme? Chaotic good. I don't think there's a negative connotation to chaotic good.
It kind of is.
Not really.
By virtue of all right, because
all it means is that the way I see it is that like lawful good is you doing good through the system that you're operating within. If you're able and you manage to actually ream the good out of whatever system you operate within, like Superman does. It's hard. That's why mostly nobody plays lawful good, I think. But
he doesn't play by the rules.
Well, not always, but you know, I guess like he
doesn't at all.
In the big trope thing, he's the ideal of a good person, traditionally good, G. Willikers, do the right thing. The ideal of good within a system is how most people see Superman. That's why a lot of people call him Boy Scout, all this stuff. The people who are not as familiar with Superman as we are, see him as that. And that's why he's kind of the de facto example for the lawful good. Chaotic good is, you're breaking out of the system to do good. You realize that you can't do good in the system, so you do it your own way, like the Straw Hats do, like pretty much most protagonists in anything, like Superman, kind of, sort of, to a small degree, Batman.
Yeah. And then neutral good would just be like...
True neutral. Neutral good is true neutral, I believe. Oh, no. Lawful neutral is a character that obeys principle as the highest virtue. I don't know. I guess like the idea of the judge, somebody who is impartial and just is by the book, principled.
Oh, the middle of the good ones.
I guess like the best case scenario of the impartial figure. These are ideals of each end of the spectrum of morality, I guess. So best case and worst case scenario of good, neutral, evil. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to pontificate about in a podcast like ours. But yeah, it's interesting to look at. But yeah, chaotic good, I feel like, is Straw Hats. They're not bad people. They're pirates. They're criminals technically, but they're good people.
They're criminals within the system as it is at the moment.
But they still do good. Chaotic good.
Yeah. All right. I think that was a fun conversation.
Yeah. Anyway, do you have any more thoughts about One Piece?
No, I definitely don't.
Yeah. I thought the twist with Vivi was actually pretty crazy. I didn't see that coming. Because last we heard about Vivi, she was taken, and we just assumed that the world government took her. But it turns out this is actually low-key built up, because we got a while back, I was reminded that like Morgan's got in contact with Wapol because he was feeding Wapol information about what happened at the Reverie. And that's how Morgan's was able to report on it. And it turns out Wapol may have just taken Vivi and ran off in his most altruistic thing he's ever done. Like the best person thing he's ever done in his entire life was probably save Vivi from the world government. And I wonder why.
Yeah, that it does beg the question why.
Because he's an asshole. Wapol's not a good person. So I don't know. I'm very.
Maybe he was scared of dying too.
Yeah, but why would he take Vivi?
Right. That still don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happened here. In the case of Wapol, I mean, like Oda does not waste characters. He does not. He is the highest definition of use the whole animal. If you create something, you're using everything. You're getting every bit of mileage out of it. And I love it. It's one of his best attributes.
Every character matters.
Yeah, and you never know when they're gonna matter. Out of his 250 characters, you never know which one's gonna come up and do something incredibly clutch and be very important to the story all of a sudden. But yeah, the stuff with Kuma, obviously he seems to be a former slave of Mary Joie. I wonder, because he may have like preceded Fisher Tiger trying to escape, or maybe he was just like one of the slaves that got away with Fisher, but he got separated with the pack and he was dragged back, because Fisher Tiger's thing happened a long time ago.
Yeah, that did.
Like Hancock was a kid when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a prince though, like Kuma's royalty. So I wonder if he was a slave, how do you go from slave to king back to slave?
Right. Maybe I don't know, man. I have no idea what was going on with him. He had a tough life.
Yeah, Kuma is. I already know, man. Kuma's got to be one of the more tragic characters in the story, and we don't even know his story yet. But we know that he's got some darkness he's battling right now. Even right now, I don't know at him as a dead robot. I don't know what his intentions are climbing up to Marishwa.
No idea.
He could be
Maybe he
going.
just wants to self-destruct.
Yeah, I mean, he could be going up there to go back to his duties, or he could be going there to fucking kill everyone. Which I wouldn't mind. Go Kuma, go! Fuck them celestial dragons.
Man, it would be so heartbreaking if he was going just to be back by their side.
Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare that would be. No, what
Like
a
if he's
depressing.
like all broken up by the time he gets to them, and then they're getting ready to fight, and he's just like, "I'm here at your service,"
Bro.
and they scrap him anyway. Oh my god!
At that
That'll
moment,
that'll get me going.
I'd be like, yo, anybody who says like One Piece is too goofy, this is the
Not
saddest.
you goofy nigga.
Yeah, this
You
is the
goofy.
If that happens, this is the saddest story in the history of stories. Jesus Christ. But I hope we get more going forward. I'm so happy that One Piece is not off next week, and we get to see more of this brilliant story. We spent a long time on One Piece, but those are all my thoughts. Really, I'm so excited. I love One Piece. It's not my chapter of the week. I guess it's very good. You know me, but I feel like there's more better things coming for One Piece, and I'm excited to see. Oda really likes to, I guess, really draw it out. He's really good at that. He's like, because things are happening, things are moving forward, but it also feels like it's going so slow at the same time. So I'm wondering,